Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, joined by my amazingly talented co-host, Bree Tucker.
Hello.
Hello. We were just talking about our very, very interesting sinus issues. They're fascinating.
Oh gosh. I'm so done with the summer, fall, and, the issues going on in the Western United States with our...
There's a lot of stuff in the air.
I know. I feel terrible saying that I'm done because it's an awful thing, but my sinuses can't take it much longer.
Your sinuses are done.
Yeah.
There's problems in the world and we would love for them to get solved, and we know they need lots of attention, but our sinuses are just done. They want to check out.
Yes. So tell them what we're doing right now.
Oh my gosh. So I opened, I'm like, oh, Bree, I need to put some pep in myself for this podcast intro. And she's like, do you want what oils do you have? What combination?
Oh, okay. So it's supposed to be an energy kind of pill thing. It helps me out during the day. It's peppermint, grapefruit, and lemon.
Oh, do you make them yourself?
Yeah. Little vegetable gel caps.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I just remembered that I have my peppermint essential oil right here. And there's that trick.
Our friend
was Jenna? Jenna taught us that.
Yes.
You put a little drop of your peppermint essential oil in your hands, and then you
breathe it in.
You breathe it in.
Woo, that's a wake up. Think of it like Vicks Rub, but
it's like Vicks Rub. It's like,
and you can feel it. You can feel it all over. Just don't touch your face afterwards. You will immediately regret that decision.
I feel everything in my sinuses right now from the peppermint oil.
Yes.
So now we're
pepped.
We're pepped, and we're ready to get into today. Today, we are talking with a positive discipline expert who we've known for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Dodie Blomberg, she does positive discipline. She teaches at a lot of schools, positive discipline. She's been teaching positive discipline and practicing it since 1995 and has facilitated hundreds of positive discipline trainings in the US, Europe, China, and now online.
Yep.
And we get into it how she was my positive discipline trainer when I was a teacher in the classroom.
And she was my mentor in positive discipline. She, not only did I attend her classes, but she also was the one who trained me as a positive discipline parent trainer.
So if you've always wanted to know about positive discipline, including what it is and how you can do it in your home, this episode is where it's at, because we don't punish our kids. We use positive discipline, and this will be a great intro, and you will pick up some tips too. We picked up some tips from Dodie.
Yes. I always do. Every time I talk to her, there is something new. I feel like it's, there's so much that you're learning that every time you come into this topic, there's something that you weren't able to catch last time because you were catching 6 other things.
Yes.
So it's always great to have that refresher.
It's always one of those great reminders. And so if you have not yet subscribed to the No Guilt Mom podcast,
what are you doing if you haven't subscribed?
Come
on, man.
Go and subscribe, and you get us right there in your podcast app every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And while you're there, rate us. Hopefully we get your 5 stars.
Yes.
And leave us a review. We're reading listener reviews every podcast episode because we want you to know how much we appreciate you. So today's review.
Ooh, which one's today?
Today's review is from row 12010.
Ooh, okay.
And it's titled Embrace the Messiness.
Oh my gosh, I love that. She used one of the phrases.
That is from episode 2 with Dr. Lisa Bravo. If you don't know that phrase, go back and listen.
But we love that phrase. Well, I'm just going to say we love that phrase so much. We put it on shirts.
Yes, we did put it on shirts. including mine that was on my belly because I didn't position it correctly. But Rose says, I love listening to this podcast. It is like having a conversation with girlfriends. The No Guilt Mom podcast has actionable tips to help you remember that the best mom is a happy mom. So far, my favorite episode is episode number 3 about the homework personalities. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I love the actionable tips on how to help my kids through their homework drama. So thank you, Row12010. We so appreciate the reviews.
Yes, thank you. Clap, clap.
So make sure to leave a review and we will read yours on air as our big thank you. And let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Emotions 911. Yes, the No Guilt Mom course for kids that teaches them so many things, Brie.
Yes. For instance, if you have a child who is having some issues with temper tantrums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just having those huge emotional swings from perfectly happy one minute to really upset the next, or maybe having difficulty not using their body when they're angry. Emotions 911 is quite a helper, isn't it?
Yes, because it not only teaches kids about their emotions, it teaches them how to name their emotions and how to communicate their emotions to other people. We dig in deep as to how their brain works, when they might need a break, and actual phrases they could say to get all their emotions out. This is the process that I taught my kids on how to do their emotions.
And what I loved about it was the fact of the platform. It's really fun, short, really peppy videos for the kids.
They're very short videos. They're like YouTube length videos, like 3-4 minutes tops. Kids don't have they don't want to sit in front of the computer for hours.
Exactly. So it gives them exactly the amount that they can attend to it. And it's fun. It's relatable. And guess what? It's not coming from mom or dad.
No, it's not coming. And you know what? Kids have told me, because kids can write messages to me right on the platform. They said, thank you for teaching me how to name my emotions. And I don't like to say control emotions, but how to manage emotions better.
Mm-hmm.
And parents have said it's given their family an entirely new language to talk about problems.
Right. And even though it is for your kids, highly suggest parents look at it too.
Mm-hmm.
Take a gander at what we're using, what the vocab is in it, what the techniques are, so that way you can help support it as well. And as a parent, it even gives us refreshers. I was just talking about that sometimes when you're watching something or learning something that you've already learned before, there are so many pieces that you don't pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come back to it, once you have some skill set, you pick up on these other golden nuggets that are amazing and are so helpful.
They are amazing. So Emotions 911, you can find more info and a link in our show notes. You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. Hi, how are you, Dodie?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. It's been years since I've seen you. You taught a professional development class in Tempe Elementary during one of our summer back to school things. So I remember you very well from that.
Yay!
So we're just going to have a friendly chat. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I like friendly chats.
Yeah. So Dodie, you're from Chicago originally.
I did. My first 20 years were in Chicago, and then I came out here to go to Arizona State, and I'm still here.
You were I'm really done with those winters in Chicago. They are rough.
Yeah.
You are not kidding. I thought I would go back, though, because it's so different here. But then I got a job in Tempe, and then I got married and had kids, and I'm still here.
There's a lot of Chicago transplants here in Arizona. My college roommate was actually a Chicago transplant as well. So it's the weather, I guess.
I think a lot of us just leave the Midwest. We're tired of the ice and the snow in the winters. I mean, it gets cold.
It does get cold. And go Devils, by the way.
Yeah. My kids are ASU people too. My boy graduated. My girl's still there. So,
ASU gets so much flack. I am up for promoting ASU as much as possible because I got a great education there. I got my bachelor's and my master's through ASU. So go Arizona State.
I just smile and say, okay. I went to school. I'm from the Midwest, and that's where I went to college. So.
So you were in Chicago for 20 years. You came here and you were a teacher. You were a classroom teacher.
I did. I taught in Tempe for 12 years. Yeah, mostly fifth grade at Flora Fu Elementary School.
That was the one I was at as well. I think that was our connection. I was a fifth grade teacher at Thu as well.
I love the Thu people.
Yes. And Anel was one of my buddies. So Thu is wonderful.
Yeah.
I forgot that you were a teacher.
The connection. There's the connection.
Yeah.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM. My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org.
So I remember when I was a teacher there in Tempe, you weren't a teacher there anymore, but you were giving all the positive discipline coaching to the teachers. So can you tell us first a little bit, what is positive discipline?
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit if that's okay. So my first year teaching was crazy hard because I did not have the tools and skills I needed to manage fifth graders. They were tough. They look like they're only 10 and they're little, but they were tough kids. And I genuinely didn't have the tools. And I struggled. I really struggled that first year. Really, really mean, really, really kind. Really, really mean, or really, really kind. And I was exhausted at the end of the day. And they were crazy. I was crazy. It was not good. I think what I really learned is what didn't work. That's what I learned. I really didn't learn what did work. So a couple of years in, I'm figuring things out. And then a friend said, hey, you might like this class. And it was positive discipline in the classroom. And I took that training in 1995 and it rocked my world. Wow, it was a whole 180-degree turn from what I grew up with. My teachers and my parents, my growing up was when you do things wrong or you make a mistake, you get punished and you experience the pain and you won't do it again. And positive discipline is not that. It's not about making people feel pain for a mistake. One of the concepts is, what if we taught kids what to do differently? What a concept, right? For me, it was a totally new concept. So I started doing class meetings and practicing positive discipline tools, and it made such a big difference in me and with my students and as a class. I thought I would teach forever. I'd found my niche. I got this. This is my thing. Well, then I got married and I had 2 kids and it was too much. So all those teachers out there who are doing it all, it was too much for me. So I thought I'd take
Props
1 year
to them.
off. Right? Yeah. I thought I'd take 1 year off and then it was 2 and 3 and I never went back.
Dodie, we have such a similar story. I did the same exact thing. I took 1 year off and then I never went back.
Yeah. I say it's the second hardest job on the planet. I think the first hardest job is parenting. Yeah. And the second hardest job is teaching. And most people don't know that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then did this skills you were learning in the classroom with positive discipline, what effect did they have with your own kids at home?
Well, what was interesting is I didn't know there was a parenting component to positive discipline. I thought it was just for teachers, which is crazy, but I didn't know. And I think I kind of had a lens for my kids, but I still was a little harsh. And then I learned you could take the parent training. I was like, what? So I took the parent training. And again, like, oh.
You can see the connection, right?
You could take time to train your own children. Like, again, I'm a slow learner.
I'm blown. I don't know. I think it's something that like all of us parents, those of us who fall into positive discipline, we're like, whoa, this is totally different than how we were raised.
And okay, I haven't had experiences with you, Dodie. You trained me in positive discipline for parents as well. I remember you sharing how your mom took it, you doing the whole positive discipline, because again, it was so different than how she had raised you.
It was
a bit about that.
It was a little ugly at first because when I was a child, I got yelled at. My mom was a good mom. Let's just put that out there. She was a good mom, but she yelled a lot and spanked a lot. And after I took this positive discipline training with my children, when they made mistakes, I'd bring them over face to face, have a conversation. What do you need to do differently? Let's go fix that, solve the problem. And my mom wasn't digging it. She's just like, this is not the way. This is not how you do it. And I knew it was right. So I just held the course. And years down the line, when my kids were more like 6 and 3 or 7 and 4, she got it. She got it. And she was gentler with my children and would talk to them instead of yelling at them. So it was actually beautiful. I just had to stay the course and have faith my mom would see the difference.
And she did.
She did.
See?
Yeah. But
that's amazing.
Stay the course.
And jumping forward, just so people can kind of see what it ends up being like. I mean, your kids are older now. They're in their 20s.
They are. And I would joke with people that I was doing a science experiment because I wasn't raised this way. So every few years I'd look at my kids and go, all right, it's still looking good. Couple of years, still looking good. All right. And so now my boy is 25. He graduated from ASU with a business degree. My girl's 22. She's at ASU studying psychology because she loves positive discipline so much. They both have jobs. They're independent. It's still looking good.
It's like all we want for our kids to be independent and self-sufficient. And I feel positive discipline really raises them to do that in the future.
Yes. And it gives us the tools we need to help support them in learning the skills they need.
And I also feel like I try to utilize it as much as possible with my kids because I'm not perfect. I slip up sometimes. And my favorite rule is mistakes are wonderful opportunities to learn. So every time I make a mistake, I tell my kids, whoops, okay. Doesn't always sound that pretty, but I'll be like, whoops, mom messed up. Okay, what can we do differently? And I even have my kids help me with problem solving because sometimes I can't see past what the issue is. So sometimes they have great suggestions that I never would have thought of. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, I feel like I'm divorced from my kid's dad. So he has a little bit of a different parenting technique that he utilizes with them. But my kids do tell me often that they feel like they are well supported with me and they're respected and they feel like they can talk to me about anything, which is, I feel like such a big deal these days. There's so much going on with our kids. There's so much that they're exposed to that we weren't as kids. Right. And my biggest hope is that I can just keep that connection as on as possible, that they can come to me and that they can trust me and they're able to learn problem solving skills to move forward. But it's such a big deal to hear them say they trust me and they feel like they can come talk to me. And that's a big factor from positive discipline.
So Brie, I appreciate the word you just said was connection. For me too, with my kids, when things get wonky, bottom line, what do I want? I want to stay connected to them. So how do we stay connected and move through whatever it is? Yeah, right. That connection piece. Thank you for saying that.
That's a big thing that I've always heard said with positive discipline, you would always say in the classes.
Connection.
Yeah. Connection before correction.
So just to lay it all out for everybody, what is positive discipline?
So the quick 1-minute overview on positive discipline is based on Alfred Adler's work. And Adler was a physician and a psychologist in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And at university, if you study him, it's called individual psychology. And the positive discipline authors, Jane Nelson and Lynn Lott, have taken Adler's theory and put it in really simple terms for us regular people, because he wrote in German and big words. And so Jane and Lynn have made it nice and simple for all of us. So the work, Positive Discipline's been out since the mid-'80s. I didn't find it till the mid-'90s. And there's just some simple principles. There's many principles, but there's just some principles that Positive Discipline holds on to. So just a few of them is all human beings want belonging and significance. And when we feel like we belong and when we feel significant, our behavior tends to be useful and helpful. When we don't feel like we belong and we don't feel significant, our behavior tends to be not useful and not helpful. And that goes for children and adults too, right? So think of yourself when you're in a situation you belong, right? You're all good.
Good. You're comfortable.
Yeah. And if you're in a situation you don't feel like you belong, like we might behave appropriately, but internally, and a beautiful thing about belonging and significance is belonging is love and connection, like Bree just said, and significance is responsibility. So we don't just want to just love on our kids. They want to be responsible. They want to be contributing factors to the home. So yeah, connection and responsibility.
That significance part is so big too, because kids, they don't want everything handed to them. It makes them unhappy. It makes them, I feel it makes them not in control of their situation either. And many parents, like me in particular, like sometimes the chores thing comes up and you don't want to fight with your kids doing chores, but chores are such a big part of household significance.
Yes.
Right. And I laugh and smile because I've always used the positive discipline trick with chores, and it's always worked well in my house, but that's for another conversation.
Yeah.
Doing like a family meeting and people picking jobs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So belonging and significance are one of the core components of positive discipline. What else is there?
Yes. And then we talk about kind and firm parenting, to be kind and firm. And kind is the relationship, right? We treat each other with kindness, but firm is the needs of the situation. So we need to be firm too. And I think for many of us, I know when I grew up, it was either kind or firm. My first year teaching, kind or firm. And then I learned you could be both. Like, how do you be both? And that's what positive discipline really focuses on, tools and skills that help us as parents be kind and yet firm at the same time.
How can you be both kind and firm in the home? Can you think of an example?
My favorite example is if your kids want something, right, that they can't have, be it candy or going to the park or like whatever. It's not an option right now, right? So a lovely, lovely statement is, honey, I love you. And the answer is no. But mom, honey, I love you. Give them a hug. The answer is no. We can't do that right now. And you can hold no really firmly with a gentle voice. No means no in a whisper or in a shout, right?
And that eye connection too. Just, it means no.
That's excellent. I'm going to use that phrase. I feel like I'm a waffler sometimes. I'm like, well, am I really saying no because I just don't want to do it? Or am I saying no because, I get too much in my own head as a parent at times?
Well, there are times to ask yourself that. Is this a real hard no or is it a soft no? Can I think about this? Let me think about this. Right. Sometimes it's a hard no.
And sometimes the answer is right now it's no, but maybe later or later when. Like, because again, it depends on the situation, what's going on.
I do use the let me think about this. And then sometimes my kids push me. They're like, but mom, I'll be like, well, if I have to say now, it's no. But if you let me think about it, it might be a maybe.
Lovely. It gives you a little space to do some problem solving or decision making.
Right?
Yeah.
100%.
Nice. It buys you some time.
Yeah.
Are there any other core things about positive discipline you want to share?
I have two more I want to share.
Yes. Okay.
So one is that all human beings want mutual respect and dignity. And how do we parent our kids and always let them hold their dignity and always treat them respectfully? Because sometimes people say, you kid, you need to treat me respectfully. Well, if we don't treat them respectfully, they don't know what it means, what it sounds like, what it looks like, right? So how do we, like you said, hold no respectfully, right? And the last one I wanted to share was encouragement. Encouragement is the greatest motivator. And often people think carrots and sticks are great motivators. Carrots and sticks are, but people move forward with lots of resistance with carrots and sticks, right? Where with encouragement, the root word is courage. And it just gives people the courage to step forward or to move forward.
Especially in a scary situation or something where they're not sure of their skill set, which the whole point we're teaching.
Yeah. And going back to the carrots and sticks, I've seen that used as kind of, the go-to in discipline where, you have your sticker chart, or you have if you do this many things, then you get like a reward on Saturday. And even allowance, I feel, is sometimes used as the carrot and stick thing, where a lot of kids aren't motivated by getting money or getting money taken away. They're more motivated by that connection and that feeling that they are in control and the feeling that they have the skills to actually solve problems and become better.
What I do sometimes, or I did sometimes, is think about if I were on the receiving end of that, if you were my spouse and I said, honey, I'd like yummier dinners cooked. And if you cook a really yummier dinner tonight, I will pay you $10. And for every night you make a yummy dinner, I'll give you $10. What do you think? How do you feel? How do you feel about that?
A little patronizing.
Patronizing. Yeah, patronizing, yeah.
I see that now.
Right? It landed like, bleh. I'm not doing that, right? Would it make you cook better dinners?
I'm almost crying and laughing on this one so bad.
I know.
No, I mean, no, not
I'd probably throw the dinner at him.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, seeing as how that is not a way we would react with adults, it's also not a way we should react with kids and try to get them to do stuff.
So here's my other thought. Like, keep it in your back pocket if you really, really, really need it. Like my kids both know. I said, do you guys remember a time when I just straight out bribed you? Do you remember? And they do. Like my kids were sick and they were at the age they were supposed to take a pill. They were old enough and capable to do it. And they were afraid and didn't want to. And I just needed them to, and they were sick, right? I just needed them to know they were capable. So like, I think I said, okay, I'll pay you $5 for the first one you take. I'll pay you $4 for the second one, $3 for and it worked. And now it's a skill I worked it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no more ever again. Like straight out bribing. I'm clear of it. And it gave them the courage to just do that one thing.
The building of capacity is huge. We do that in our Homework 911 class where kids, like I did this when I got my daughter to start working on her own homework. She got fruit snacks. She sat down at the table and every problem she got like a fruit snack the first day. And then I turned it over to her and I'm like, okay, well, how many problems do you think you need to do to get a fruit snack? And she's like, I'll do like 3 and I'll get my fruit snack. And we just progressed day by day by day until finally she's like, Mom, just give me the pack. Like, I'm going to do my homework. And then we phased out the fruit snacks because she had built the capacity. She knew she could do it at that point and she didn't need the reward anymore. So I think that's really important when we're talking about rewards and kids, in that rewards aren't supposed to last forever.
There you go. And I think the fact that worked, because I know plenty of times in speaking with parents, they're like, well, I tried a reward system and it didn't work. Like after a few days or after a week or after 2 weeks, they stopped caring about it anymore. Well, that was the key factor there, was that you turned it over to the child's choice. You gave your daughter a choice and you asked her, and showing her that you had faith that she could do it without needing that reward the whole time. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes a big difference. Because if they think that they're only doing it for the reward, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, it's manipulation. And nobody likes to be manipulated. No. Nobody.
Hey, Aubrey here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Brie, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
Yeah. And they figure it out. Kids are smart cookies.
Oh, yeah.
They are smart.
No, they totally figure it
out. I think the thing too is like long-term. We're always aiming for long-term. And do we want our kids to appreciate or value manipulation? So when they're older, they get manipulated by people, like they're okay with that. Like we do not want our kids to buy into manipulation. So we should do it as rarely as possible with them.
What would be the first step then if, say, parents were having trouble getting their kids to do chores and what they've had in their pocket so far is a reward chart or a reward system? What do you suggest that they move to from there if it's not working?
So I'm thinking my first thought would be to sit down and just have a lovely chat. This is our house. Like it's the family house, not my house. It's the family house. And for all of us to live here, we all have to contribute. Now, there's certain jobs nobody likes, but there's all of these jobs. So maybe depending on their age, you guys could brainstorm jobs and everybody could pick one and then go again and pick two. So everybody has a few jobs that are theirs and it's their responsibility to do it. And you can even talk about, how should I remind you? Because I really don't want to be the reminder. It's your job. How can we figure out this process? Do you want a chart? So once you've done it, you mark it off, but there's no reward. It's just so you know it's done. I know it's done. How do you want to do that? And really chat about it as opposed to, I think the difference is it's not you're going to do your homework. Like me, you're going to do the chore. I have power over. Like, how do we share this power? Like we're all in this together. How do we do this?
And legit listening to your children when they come to the table with suggestions. Some of them may be off the wall, things you can't do, but that doesn't mean you can't listen to it and go, okay, all right, let's think about that and come back to that one.
Yeah. And some of them also may be stuff that you know from past experience, it doesn't work. So what happened? What would you suggest parents do when you know a suggestion that the kid has?
Like, let's say they say, let me just do it on my own. I don't need you to remind me. And you're like, okay, you are 15 and you have never done it on your own. Yeah.
Ideally, I don't know what I'd do in the moment. If I was grumpy or tired or hungry, I don't know what I would do. But sitting in I'm totally solid with positive discipline at this moment. Like ideally, I'd say, all right, I'm going to let you have a full week. Here's a full week. I'm going to give you 100%. I'll say nothing. And then let's meet on Friday or Saturday morning and we'll talk about how it got done, what worked, what didn't work. And can I just say, like, as a parent, when my kids were teens, the hardest part was shutting up. Like it was so hard.
You're like pinching yourself sometimes. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Yeah, I put my fingers like, like, just be quiet, right? And at the end of the week, we dialogue. What happened? What worked? What didn't work?
And you know what I love about that? Giving your child that space shows that you have faith in them.
You do.
It shows that you do. It's not just words. Mom is not just saying, you're a smart kid, you're capable, whatever it is that you're telling your children on a regular basis, you're showing it. You're not just saying it, you're walking the walk with it.
And it's so hard.
And that means
really,
a lot to them.
Really hard. Like
I know, right?
My daughter is 11 and I'm starting to do this now. And I have to press my lips together and ball my fists and leave the room. I have to physically get out of there, else I'm going to say something.
I know it's harder to be quiet than
I
just
pinch myself. I pinched myself when I'm trying not to say anything. It's funny when I think about the times that it's just bubbling out of me. You see my legs start to jump and I'm just like, nope.
No, but it's interesting talking about this whole trusting kids and building their confidence really in themselves. I mean, I had this, we were doing some paddleboarding on Monday, my daughter's first time. And it was our friend who took us out. And I could see my daughter was not doing this paddle correctly. I could see it. And I was here and I'm like, so Mel, do you want me to tow her so you could coach her or something? And Mel, being the amazing coach she is, she told me, she's like, no, we got it. We're good. You go ahead. And it's the building of the confidence in kids where sometimes as a parent, we can't step in and help. We just have to go ahead and trust that our kids will make it.
They will they will flounder a little bit.
Yeah, they will flounder.
But you have to have faith that they'll be able to problem solve it.
So Adler has a quote, and I'm going to botch it up, but the quote is something like, overcoming life's difficulties is what creates courage.
And that's very, very
That's a great
true.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to let our kids bump up against stuff. We have to shut up, step back, and let them bump and get over it.
Because we know life is full of obstacles. It's full of challenges that we're not going to always be there to help them, no matter how much we want to be.
Yeah. Are there times you remember with your own kids of challenges that you kind of had to let them figure it out?
Oh, there were a lot. I would say the most recent one, and I don't know if I have permission to share this. So my girl was struggling in her senior year of high school, really struggling. And it was the same time my husband and I were divorcing. So there was a lot happening. And she was failing 3 classes and she'd never failed anything. It just was not normal. And I was scared she wasn't going to graduate. She was scared she wasn't going to graduate. Do I jump in and play the hard ball, sit your butt down, get this Yeah, it was really hard to sit as the coach and be curious and ask questions and see how she's going to solve it. And a week later, things weren't better. I go in my room and cry, recover, come back, try the conversation. It took a few weeks for her to get her feet under her and to decide what to do and how to do it. And Bree, what you said before, the one thing I knew for sure during this time is I was staying connected to her, no matter what happened. Even if she didn't pass these classes, I was staying connected to her no matter what, even though I was scared and mad. And often when we're scared and mad, we push people away, right? So thank you for that connection word. It all ended up okay, but it was really a difficult time for her, a really difficult time for me. And she learned so much about herself and what she needed to do and how to do it. And it was powerful and crazy hard.
Do you see that what she learned during that time, do you see it now reflected in her day-to-day life today or in situations she's come across today?
I do. She's at ASU, she was having trouble with classes and she went to the professors, asked questions, took the lead on what to do and how to do it instead of just floundering.
You have, so I'm going to run back in time with your daughter. You have the most wonderful story about when she was younger. I think that it was you were at a Girl Scout meeting or something. You know what I'm talking about, the hug.
I do.
Yes.
I do. So my girl, I've learned so much from my girl. When she was little, she'd have these great temper tantrums. And this was before I knew there was this, you could do a PD training. So I had the parent book and I looked and it said, when kids have temper tantrums, give them a hug. I'm what? I am not giving her a hug. That is permissive. That is not happening. But these temper tantrums kept happening and I was getting mad and she's mad. Look in the book, give a hug. Not giving a hug. I said, no, it's happening. So finally I was like, all right. So positive discipline helped me with my 5th graders. What if I tried this hug for just a week? I know it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But what if I just tried it for 1 week and then I'll throw it out? So she's having this big temper tantrum. I'm like, all right, let's go in. And I squatted down, eye level, and I said, Cassidy, it looks like you need a hug. She looked at me. I was like, yeah. So she hugged me. I hugged her and she just melted on me. I was like, wow, this is interesting. But internally, I'm still like, this is permissive. But I did this for a few days. And then her temper tantrums just kind of fell off. Like, when misbehavior stopped, we don't notice, right? They're just gone. And about a year later, I was having a hard day. So she's 3 now. I'm having a hard day and I'm at my computer crying all by myself. And she comes in and she sees me crying. She's like, Mom, it looks like you need a hug. Whoa. So now I'm crying even more. And now a year later, I'm getting that wasn't permissive. I helped to self-regulate her, right? 2-year-olds can't regulate themselves. So a hug genuinely helped regulate her. And she learned empathy, right? And so she's asking if I needed a hug. And truthfully, this is one of her greatest gifts. Like she sees when people are upset, friends and such, and she'll say, do you need a hug? Like, yeah. So it happened at a Girl Scout meeting with this little boy. She squatted down. She needed a hug. He hugged her. She helped. Like, yeah. When I'm having a hard time, she's like, Mom. I'm like, I don't need a hug. Mom. Okay.
Bring it in, Mom. Bring it in.
So a hug is a great tool too.
I think we all need more hugs.
I think hugs are great resets in general. Like I know that with both of my kids, if they're having a hard time, they know I'll be like, come on, give mom a hug. And sometimes even if my daughter's mad at me, she's like, I don't want a hug. And I'm like, are you sure you don't want a hug? Then I'll get her to laugh and yeah, we can normally move forward with that. Sometimes though, I have to respect, because again, my daughter's 12 now. So I have to respect when she does say the absolute hard no. I need some space. Okay. Yeah. All right. But the hug's waiting for you. And so I keep checking in with her as the day goes on. And I'm a goofy, silly person. Everybody knows that about me.
Yeah.
So she knows I'm not going to let it go. Not going to let it go into the...
But hugs, they're so important. They're such a form of connection. And in today's society, they've been really well, COVID for one. Even before COVID, I mean, one of my best ways to connect with kids when I was a camp counselor was we would give them a hug. I worked at a Girl Scout camp and it was the best working environment I ever had, because one of our staff mottos was everybody needs 14 hugs a day. So we would just every time we greeted each other, we would hug each other. And it was this wonderful thing. Come into teaching where right at the end of my teaching program, you take this class called Teachers in the Law, which scares you so bad of things you can and can't do in the classroom. And hugs were basically prohibited. Yeah. You just can't do them as a teacher because of lawsuits and everything that's happened before. And it's hard. It's hard when those kids, they just need a hug, but you're like, I can't hug you. I can pat you on the shoulder and give me side hip.
The one-armed hip out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my little lament on hugs.
Especially the littles, right? The littles really want.
The littles. Oh, they really need hugs. But even 5th graders, I was doing, some of them could have really used some hugs.
Sometimes I needed a hug in 5th grade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So what do you think? I already know I've heard quite a bit about the differences between punishment and positive discipline. And I feel like what I've heard is that the punishment mentality is more of again, you need to feel bad for what happened. I need to make sure that you feel the anger, the pain, the whatever of what occurred so that you learn not to do it again. Versus positive discipline, we're more about, okay, that sucked. Let's acknowledge our feelings right now, how you feel, how I feel. Do we want to feel like this again? What does this make us think about the situation? Okay, what can we do to learn and go forward from it? Mm-hmm. So positive discipline, I feel like it's more about teaching what to do as opposed to, and it's more of
a proactive.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Teamwork.
Great part.
I didn't have to work very hard on that one. I just changed the prefixes. But no, I shouldn't get much credit for that.
Yeah, I need my coffee. I'm missing coffee these days.
No, but it's true. Discipline, I learned this as a teacher actually for the first time, that it was teaching. It means to teach. It doesn't mean to punish.
Right. So think about this again. If you have a problem, in life, let's say you get in a car accident or you made a mistake at work and nobody says you go to your room and you think about what you did and don't come out until you, nobody, I'm not having supper. I'm not going to have supper. I'm going in my room. That's what I'm doing. Because we don't do that. What do we do when we make a mistake or do something wrong? What do we do?
We try to figure out a solution.
We try to repair it.
Yeah.
We try a new solution, or we repair it, and if that doesn't work, then we punish ourselves, right?
Right.
No. What do we do? No, what do we do?
We try something else.
Try something else.
Keep trying.
Right. Because we're trying to find a solution to the problem. So why can't we let kids do that? Like, they know they made a mistake, right? They hit their brother. Everybody fell. Everybody knows the mistake happened. So how do we solve that for next time? Right? Because there's going to be a next time. Solutions are forward facing. Punishments are backward facing. Like, oh, I did that back there. I don't want to do that again. But what do I do differently next time? I don't know what I do differently next time. I just know I can't do that. Well, I don't know what to do differently. Right? So it's, how do we solve it for next time instead of just creating pain in the moment? Right?
What would you say when you have that discussion with kids and you're like, okay, well, what can we do next time? What are your ideas? And they just shut down and they're like, I don't know.
So there's a couple of reasons kids will do that. One is because people don't listen, right? If adults didn't listen before, they're like, and there's something behind this. I'm not going to put any ideas out because I'm going to there's a trick here. This adult is doing a trick here and I don't want to get caught in the trick. I'm just going to say, I don't know. So my first thought would be, well, think about it and I'm going to come back and we'll chat some more. And if I'm still getting, I don't know, I'm going to have to really think about what my behaviors have been in the past. Like, why are they putting this big block up? And I might even start, well, you know what? How about if I give a few suggestions and then you give a few suggestions? What if you apologize to your sister? What if you sewed the bear that you ripped? What else could you do? What else could you do to make this right? What else could you do? And just kind of have light energy so they could feel willing to give some suggestions. We want our kids to be problem solvers. That's what we want, that they can solve problems out in the world all by themselves.
But we have to remember that as parents utilizing a new technique or a new skill, and as children utilizing a new skill, asking them to think about things in a way that they may not have been asked to do previously, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
It's going to take time for everybody to have that mutual trust and respect with each other. And then B, to be able to utilize that skill sort of on demand. Like when you're asking them to problem solve, being able to problem solve then. And then I think a big one too, C, would be just also letting people come up with their own process for problem solving. I know I don't solve problems the same way that you solve problems, Joanne. And I know that my kids both, their problem solving methods are different with the two of them. So everybody has their own process, and respecting that process once you figure it out, like being able to let people go through that. Sorry, I'm rambling.
Yeah. And it takes patience. And a lot of us don't have patience. That's not my greatest skill.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially the patience, knowing that being afraid of the future, being afraid of trusting the process and hoping and praying that it'll work, but not quite sure it will. And so like your brain tries to override that and talk too much or suggest too much or do whatever. So it's hard, and it's a hard thing to do. Where would you suggest parents go to learn more about these positive discipline techniques?
First, I would encourage you to go to positivediscipline.org. That's the nonprofit that does international work, and many of my trainings are in through them. You could go to my website, dodieblomberg.com. But I'm also doing a training through Mesa Parent University at the end of September and October, and it's free for parents. So you got to love free. So you go to Mesa Parent University, look for my class. It's on September 24th. It's a 3-week series, and it's free. You just have to register, sign up, and it's online even. How great is that?
Great.
That is awesome. Dodie, you've given us so many great nuggets and things to think about. It has been a total joy talking with you.
Yes. It's been so great getting to see you again.
I know, you girls too. And I love this work. Like, I just really love this work.
Thank you. We love it too so far. It's great. It's great. So awesome. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, girls. Have a great day.
I love talking with Dodie because she is so relatable And she doesn't make you feel bad for
No.
doing the wrong things.
Yes. Every time I talk with her, I just love her energy. I literally feel like she is this just ray of sunshine right there. She's just like, it's okay. It's all good. We'll figure it all out together.
And she's so honest with her own parenting struggles. And she's not there to say, you should do it this way. And this is the only way.
Yeah.
Like, that I love. I love it so, so much. I also love how she said, like when we asked her a question, she's like, well, sitting here in the expert chair, I have one answer. But actually being a parent in that situation, she didn't know how she would react because there's so many emotions on you as a parent that you can't do the most perfect thing every time.
Well, and the other thing too is that there is not one thing that works for everyone. There isn't one size fits all solution for every single person. Now, again, like when it comes to positive discipline, it's a theory, it's a group of strategies, many different tools, many different strategies that you utilize, but they have some key concepts. And the one key concept that always has resonated with me with positive discipline is that everybody has this sense of wanting to belong.
Yes, all human beings want belonging, is what she said. And I think that's so important to keep close whenever we come up with a situation with our kids where there's a struggle or a conflict, just to keep that in mind. All they want is belonging. I've used that so much since we interviewed Dodie. Like, I've used it to say no more.
Really?
Which is really interesting because like my daughter would ask me a lot of stuff. She's like, can we get a pedicure? Can we do this? Can we do this? It's like so many things and you're saying no so many times that it almost makes me feel bad to say no that many times.
I get it. That mom guilt, it sneaks in.
But coming in with the positive discipline angle and being able to just like tap her on the shoulder being like, I love you, but no.
Yeah, I love you, but the
so
answer is
much.
no. And like, that was a great thing how she just kept doing it. And like, and I know that in podcast world, people couldn't see her face, but Dodie would just give this big smile and go, I love you, but no. And yeah, sometimes that's really what it comes down to is that, you know, as adults, we understand that some things are just no's. They're just no's right now. Doesn't mean that we can't do it, you know, in a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, right? It's just, it's a no right now. But the kids don't understand that. They don't have the same concept of time. And again, like she was saying, maybe the ask for the pedicure was just because she wanted to spend time with you. I love you, but the answer is no to pedicures. Is there something else we can do?
I did say yes to that one.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one.
I wanted a pedicure as well. And like I told her after, I'm so glad you asked me for this one because it's something that I needed. I needed a break. I needed to like get out and do something fun and just sitting there and not having to do anything and being touched. It's so nice, especially in this COVID world where
I know. Yeah.
Hugs and everything.
Just getting to have a connection. Just getting to go do something productive outside of the house.
Yes. Just getting that.
Yeah.
But we have all of the stuff we did with Dodie. It is in the show notes for you, along with how you can find out more about her, how you can find out more about positive discipline. We have actually this whole interview. We have this wonderful show notes all written up. So if you're listening to it in the car and you're like, oh, I really wanted to remember it, you can just hop on over to our show notes page where we have a total transcript and we took out the big points in the interview for you to remember later. So that is on noguiltmom.com. There's also a link in your podcast app, wherever you're listening to us. And until next time, remember that the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much for listening.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday who was pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.